Problem solving of parabola in real-life situation. In problem solving sa parabola, we are going to recall of what we have learned about the graphs of the parabola whenever ang vertex natin ay nasa 0, 0, okay, in which ito yung gagamitin nating equation, and also with their respective directions of the graph base dito sa ating given. And if ever na yung graphs natin ay merong vertex at h, k, so we are going to use this equation base do sa ating magiging direction of the graph. If it is opens to the right, opens to the left, opens upward or downward. In problem solving of the parabola, okay, we must identify first yung direction of the graph. So, as I mentioned, kung yun ba ay opens to the left, to the right, upward, or downward. Okay, and then we must know or determine the vertex, the focus, the focal distance, and we all know that we represent C as the focal distance, the equation to follow, whenever na alam na natin yung direction of the graph, okay, and then alam na natin yung vertex, saka natin malalaman kung anong equation yung gagamitin natin. Okay, so it's either ito or ito ang gagamitin natin. Okay, and then after that, we have to know the other points on the parabola that we are going to use. So for us to understand this, let us have a first example. Example number 1. The cross-section of a large parabolic microphone can be molded by the equation of y squared is equal to 120x. What is the length of the feed horn? Okay, so ano ba yung parabolic microphone? So yung microphone, okay, as you can see in this figure, if ever na meron tayong emitter, okay, ito yung source ng ating sounds. And then also, once na nag-produce ng sound waves, and bounce yan dito sa tinatawag natin na parabolic reflector. Okay, and then once na nag-bounce yan dito sa ating parabola, okay, so mag-bounce yan in which mag-form tayo ng mga parallel lines. Okay, ito yung mga parallel lines. Kaya kapag meron tayong megaphone, okay, merong part na kapag narinig niyo yung megaphone, 'di ba? May part doon na malakas yung sound. Okay? Kapag malakas yung sound, so narinig, ibig sabihin nagdoon yung ating parallel lines nagmula doon sa ating feed horn. Okay, so for this example, meron na tayong parabola na ang equation ng parabolang ito is y squared is equal to 120x. Okay, so from this equation, alam natin na yung graph natin opens to the right. Okay, so for example, we have this y-axis. Okay, and then magdodraw din tayo para sa x-axis. Okay, since ang graph natin, or since yung ating equation opens to the right, so mag-graph tayo ng parabola in which yung vertex niya ay nasa 0, 0. Okay, nasa 0, 0. Okay, the question is, kapag meron daw tayong ganitong equation na y squared is equal to 120x, saan daw natin ipopwesto yung feed horn? Okay, we all know that the feed horn is placed in this part, yung ating focus. Kasi once na ito, alam na natin yung pwesto ng ating feed horn, and once na yan ay nakapag-produce ng sounds, okay, so we expect na yung mapoproduce ng sounds ay magbabounce yan dun sa ating parabola or mag-reflect dun sa ating parabola and then magbabounces yan, lahat ng mga sound waves natin dyan, magbabounce yan and magpo-form ng parallel lines. Itong mga linyang ito, again, we are referring to the directions or the flows of the sound waves. So, whenever na meron tayong feed horn. Okay, so the question is, saan natin ilalagay or gaano kalayo yung ilalagay natin na feed horn doon sa ating vertex. Okay, so we are going to know or determine what the equation are we going to use or what equation are we going to follow. Based on this equation, okay, yung equation natin ay kamukha niyo yung equation na y squared is equal to 4cx. Okay, so kaporma niya yung equation na yan, yung equation na ito. And for us to know the length of the feed horn or yung distance ng horn natin, feed horn natin dun sa ating vertex, okay, we must know the focal distance. We all know that this part, itong vertex natin, and this is a focus or the area or the place kung saan yung feed horn natin, yun yung distance na tinatawag natin na focal distance. And if ever nakukuha natin yung focal distance, makukuha na natin yung length of the feed horn, okay, from the vertex to its place. Okay, so for us to solve this, okay, since meron na tayong equation na susundin and meron tayong given equation na, which is y squared is equal to 120x, all we have to do to get the focal distance is we have to equate 120, okay, 120 dun sa ating 4c. Kasi meron na tayong y squared and meron na tayong x. Again, ang focus natin dito, yung ating pinaka-main goal is to get the focal distance. And kapag nakuha na natin focal distance, makukuha na natin yung length ng feed horn. So, again, 120 is equal to 4c. And divide both sides of the equation by 4. So cancel. So, c is equal to 30. So, ano ibig sabihin ng 30 na yan? Yung 30 na yan, ay yan yung distance, or we have 30 units. Okay, so we have to use 30 units. Okay, yun yung magiging distance ng ating feed horn dun sa ating parabola or dito sa vertex ng ating parabola. So, from this, okay, magbibilang lang tayo ng 30 units. For example, this is 30 units. Okay, so dito natin siya ilalagay yung ating feed horn. So, the length of the feed horn from the vertex of the parabola is 30 units. So, hindi pala pwedeng na ilagay mo lang yung microphone or yung feed horn natin sa kung saan mo lang siya gusto ilagay. So, again, dapat meron tayong specific place and yun dapat ay measurable na once ito ay nag-produce ng sound waves, for example dito, sa ating parabola, magpo-form yan ng parallel lines. Again, yung parallel lines na yan yan po yung ating flow ng ating sound waves. Okay? Example number 2, how high is the parabolic arc with span of 20 feet and a height of 16 feet at a distance 5 feet from the center? So, from this, we all know the image of the parabolic arc. And alam natin na ang parabolic arc ay laging pababa. Okay? Pag sa Tagalog, ito yung mga arko. Okay? Kung mayroon kayong minsan may kita sa mga gate na ang entrance niya is pa ganyan. Okay. So, downward lagi yung ating arc. Wala tayong makikita na arc na upward. Okay, wala tayong makikita na ganyan, na meron tayong entrance name, okay, tas upward yung ating parabolic arc. So, we all know that the parabolic arc that we are referring to is downward. Okay, so halimbawa, drawing tayo ng parabola, which is downward. Okay, and from this, sabi, we have this parabolic arc with a span of 20 feet. Okay, so meron tayong parabola in which yung span niya or yung haba niya is 20 feet. Okay, with a height of 16 feet. So yung taas naman daw ng ating, yung highest, okay, na ma-form natin dito sa parabola is 16 feet. Okay, so we have this 16 feet. Okay, and a distance of 5 feet from the center. Di ba para makuha natin yung hinahanap natin dun sa ating parabola, meron tayong laging equation. Okay, and then dun sa ating equation, para mas maintindihan natin siya, ilalagay natin siya sa isang Cartesian coordinate plane, sa coordinate plane. So, itong ating parabola, ilalagay natin siya sa x and y axis. Ngayon, pag meron kayong nakita intersection ng lines forming 90 degrees, pwede natin siyang ilapat dun sa x-axis and y-axis. So, from this, itong vertical line, okay, gawa tayong imaginary line dyan. Okay, gawa tayong imaginary line. And yung line na yan yung magsisilbi natin ngayong y-axis. Okay, para mas madaling natin siyang isolve. Okay, and then itong horizontal line na to ay magsaserve na yan as our x-axis. Okay, this would be our x-axis. Okay, so we have the x-axis and y-axis. Ngayon, kapag meron tayong x and y-axis, we can able to determine the points or the coordinates of this parabola. Okay? So, yung intersection ng lines natin, okay? This is the intersection ng x and y axis. May pa-cross dyan. Ang coordinates natin dyan, alam natin na yan ay 0, 0. Okay? 0, 0. And then next, we have here, since ito ay 20 feet, okay, so kalahati niyan, ba yung nasa gitna, yan yung magiging axis of symmetry natin na maghahati doon sa parabola into 2 equal parts. So that means if we have 20 feet here, dito sa buong span, yung kalahati, okay, yung kalahati na yan, yan ay 10 feet. And then yung kalahati din yan, that is also 10 feet. Okay? So, ngayon, kung meron na tayong, kung alam na natin distance ng ating parabola dun sa center, okay, so we all know that the coordinates of this point and to this point ay equidistant lang dun sa ating center. So, therefore, ang coordinates neto is, okay, dito muna tayo, ang coordinates neto is positive 10, 0, and then yung coordinates naman netong part na to is negative 10, 0. Okay, and then next, identify din natin, since meron tayong pinag-usapan natin yung parabola, hindi mawawala yung vertex. Okay, so ano sa tingin ninyo ang coordinates ng vertex natin? Okay, we all know that the coordinates of our vertex here is 0, positive 16. Okay, 0, positive 16. Okay, so balikan natin yung equation. Meron na tayong parabola. Nag-graph na natin siya. Alam na natin yung itsura ng magiging parabola natin. Sabi, gaano daw kataas yung doon sa parabola daw natin kapag ang distance naman ay 5 feet from the center. Okay, so dito ay 10 feet. Okay, ito yung center natin. Magbibilang tayo ng 5 feet. Okay, and then ito na yon. Okay, this is the 5 feet. Okay? Yung distance na yan from the center up to this point, okay, so we all know that this is the 5 feet. Okay? 5 feet. Okay, so how high is the parabolic arc? So, mula sa 5 feet, ano daw, gaano daw kataas yung ating parabola mula dun sa ating base, okay, mula dun sa center, and hahanapin natin kung gaano kataas yung line na yan. Okay? So, lahat yan, merong lines. Okay? Merong lines dyan. Pero, paano kapag hinanap naman natin yung line na yan? Okay? So, dapat ma-identify natin yung coordinates ng point na ito. Okay? Para malaman natin kung gaano kataas yung line na ito mula dun sa ating center na 5 feet. Okay? And then, dun sa ating parabola. Okay, so from this, ano kaya magiging coordinates natin dyan? So, magiging coordinates natin dyan is, okay, so titingnan mo naman yung x natin dyan. Okay, yung x natin dyan ay nasa 5. Okay, 5, comma. Okay, and then yung y natin, alam ba natin kung gaano kataas ito? Hindi po. So, we are going to represent it as y. So, 5, y. Ayun, identify na natin, na-graph na natin siya, alam na natin yung itsura niya. Okay, so again, ang target natin is to solve for y. Okay, please bear in mind that when we solve this kind of problems, okay, we must identify first the direction of the graph, okay, the vertex, the focus, the focal distance, the equation to follow, and the points that we are going to use din sa ating parabola. Okay? So, from this to solve for y, una, dapat alamin muna natin kung anong equation ang gagamitin natin. Okay? So, sabi kanina, kailangan ma-identify muna natin kung ano yung direction of the graph. Okay? And then, kapag meron na tayong direction of the graph tsaka vertex, we can able to know what equation are we going to follow to solve this given. Based dito sa ating given, ang direction of the graph natin is opens downward. Okay? And yung vertex natin ay nasa, okay, ito yung ating parabola. Ito yung parabola natin. Okay, and then yung vertex niya ay nasa 0, 16. Okay, so that means yung ating equation na gagamitin natin ay hindi sa origin. Okay, hindi sa origin. Kasi ang vertex natin ay nasa 0, -16. So ngayon, okay, ano kayang equation ang gagamitin natin kapag yung direction of the parabola natin opens downward and the vertex is at a 0, 16? Okay, very good. So, ang magiging sagot natin dyan is quantity x minus h squared is equal to, since downward tayo, so we will have negative 4c times y minus k. Okay, so nakuha na natin yung equation. Okay. Ano ba yung mga x and y dyan na meron tayo sa equation? When we talk about x and y dyan sa ating equation, ito, tsaka ito, yan yung mga values or yan yung mga coordinates natin na nakalagay mismo dun sa ating parabola. Yung mga part na ito, ayan. Okay, yan ay magsasatisfy palagi dito sa ating equation. Mamili ka lang dyan ng isang point. Okay, laging mag-i-equal yung sides ng ating equation. First, find the C. Okay? Find C or the focal distance. And to get the focal distance, so we are going to use one point dun sa ating equation, sa ating parabola na given dito, and yun ang gagamitin natin para makuha yung C. Okay? And then also, gagamitin din natin yung vertex. Okay, so doon sa ating equation, ilagay muna natin yung vertex na h, k. So we will have x minus h squared is equal to negative 4c times y minus k. Then ilagay natin yung vertex na x minus 0 squared is equal to negative 4c times y minus 16. Simplifying this, we will have x squared is equal to negative 4c times y minus 16. Next, okay, to solve for c, we are going to substitute now whatever the points na makukuha natin sa parabola. And ang given points lang natin dito sa ating parabola is yung 0, 16 din na natin yung pwede gamitin kasi yun yung mismong ating vertex. So, it's either negative 10, 0 or 10, 0 yung ating gagamitin. Pamamagitan ng paggamit ng any points na ito or ito. So, I will use 10, 0. Okay, so from this, i-substitute natin yung x as 10, yung y as 0. So, we have 10 squared is equal to negative 4c times yung y natin is 0 minus 16. Okay, so simplifying this, so we have 10 squared is equal to 100 is equal to negative 4. Okay, then ito magiging negative 16 na yan kasi 0. So, negative 4 times negative 16 magiging positive 64, then C. Okay, and then divide both sides by 64. So, cancel. So, that is equal to 100 over 64. Or we can simplify this as, anong simplified form of 100 over 64? So, we can simplify this as 25 over 16. Okay, so pwedeng gamitin ninyo yung 100 over 64 or 25 over 16. Walang problema po doon. Parehas lang makukuha natin sagot. Pero mas gamitin na natin yung simplest form. So again, nakuha na natin yung focal distance. And yung focal distance natin dyan is 25 over 16. Ngayon, once na nakuha na natin siya, solve for y. Solve for the unknown. And to solve for the unknown, okay, gamitin natin yung equation natin, which is ito. Okay, gagamitin na natin yan. So, we have x squared is equal to negative 4c times y minus 16. We all know na ito na magiging equation natin for this parabola. Okay, so from this, i-substitute na natin yung 5, yung y dito sa ating equation, and then kasama itong ating focal distance. Okay, so yung x natin, ipapalitan natin ng Okay, ilagay natin with 5, comma, y. Okay, so yung x natin dyan is 5, then squared is equal to negative 4 times 25 over 16 times y minus 16. Simplifying this, we have 5 squared that is equal to 25 equals, okay, ito makakancel na to. Ito, cancel, and then gawin natin 4. So, yun ay magiging negative 25 over 4 times, okay, times y minus 16. Okay, and then ipagpatuloy natin siya na we have 25 is equal to negative 25 over 4 times y minus 16. Okay, so para mawala ang fraction, multiply both sides by 4. So, cancel yung part na to, and yung matitira is 4 times 25, magiging 100 is equal to negative 25 raised to y minus 16. Okay, so from this, divide both sides by negative 25. Okay, negative 25 para mawala si negative 25. And ang matitira dito is 100 divided by negative 25, that is negative 4. Equals, ang natira dito is y minus 16. And continuing this, again, ang target natin is to find the y. So, to find y, i-transpose lang natin negative 16 sa kabila, magiging positive 16, then minus 4. Then equals, so mawala na yan, napunta na siya doon sa kabila, and matitira is y. So, 16 minus 4, that is 12, equals y. So, itong 12 na ito na yan, ito daw ang magiging height nung ating line dito from this span or from this base ng ating parabola whenever na yung ating distance mula doon sa center is 5 feet. And the 12 here, that is the height from the points ng ating parabola dito sa ating base. So, 12, that is our final answer.